Okay, so I've been wanting to do this video ever since yesterday, before last night's game against the Bucks and the Hawks. People have been talking about how they're not a playoff team anymore, and people have been questioning whether or not last season's run was a fluke. And as dumbfounded as I was at the time, to me it makes no sense why people would just react this way. Like, we know how seasons go. Some teams they struggle, some teams they got it clicking right away, some teams they falter later on in the season. And it's like, we have already seen this Hawks team last season have a bad record, being 14-20 before they fired Coach Pierce, and then going on a run with McMillan as the coach. And now all of a sudden we're taking them off the playoff spot already. Like, it's only been 12 games. Let's just calm down a little bit. The Hawks will be fine, okay? This team, the last 10 games, they've been 2-8. That's including the game against the Bucks that they just played last night. So that means the last 9 games they've been 1-9. They had a 6-game road trip where they lost every single game, and of course it looks bad. And they do have their issues, right? Their defense isn't as good as it was last season, and some of their guys have been struggling. Like Capella, he hasn't gotten nearly as many points and rebounds as he did last season. And then you also have some players that came back from injuries, or other players are hurt, and you know, the cohesion that your team had last season going into the playoffs isn't there anymore. And I mean, guys, if you've watched the last 10 games they've played, you would know that the worst team they played was the Bucks. I mean, their worst team record-wise was the Milwaukee Bucks, okay? Like, they played the Washington Wizards twice, okay? And that was the one win they got out of their 9 games before they played the Bucks. They played a 9-3 Wizards. They played a 10-4 Brooklyn Nets. They played a Philadelphia 76ers team that was on a winning streak when they played them. Now they're like 8-6. They're missing Embiid due to health and safety protocol. So this team not long ago was actually 7-2, 8-2. And then the Western Conference, they played Golden State Warriors 11-2. They played Phoenix Suns 9-3. They got an 8-game winning streak. They played the Denver Nuggets 9-4. They got a 5-game winning streak. And those are the top 3 Western teams in the conference. And then they play the 5th seed Utah Jazz, who are 8-5. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is where we really need to ask ourselves whether or not we actually just look at the records and draw our conclusions there, or we actually watch these games and see what the hell's going on. Because you cannot tell me that this Atlanta Hawks team didn't have a tough schedule. Because that's exactly what happened. They went through hell the last 2 weeks right now. They went through hell. And right now they're going to play teams like the Magic. They're going to play teams like the Celtics. They're going to play teams like the Pistons. They're going to play teams like the Hornets, right? Teams that aren't as good as the teams they played over the last 2 weeks. And so now the Hawks, I'm pretty sure, are going to win most of those games. And they're going to be at home for most of these games too. So let's take it easy on this team. Let's not go and draw up these crazy conclusions. I'm pretty sure this team is going to win most of their games from now on at home, and they're going to make use of their homestand and make sure that they get a momentum going. And it's going to make a lot of you guys look very stupid, and for good reason. Guys, this Atlanta team just came off a Eastern Conference Finals appearance, and now you're going to call that a fluke? Like, are you kidding me? Like, did you not see who they beat to get there? The Philadelphia 76ers? Number 1 seed in the East? They were the number 1 seed for a reason. And they somehow are still overlooked. You know, at first I didn't believe Trae Young when he said this in the beginning of the season, but it is true. They are being overlooked. They're being slept on. And the moment they start losing games, that's when the real critics come out, man. And they shit on them, and they shit on this team. People already made the mistake of doubting Trae Young when he came out of Oklahoma. Now they're making the mistake of doubting whether or not he can go back to the conference finals. The definition of insanity is